I think as far as Italian desserts go, then tiramisu is probably the most famous and one of the most delicious things you can make. So that's what we're going to make today. All the ingredients you're going to need are 200 grams of sfogliato or ladyfingers. These can be either be homemade or shop bought. Around about 350 ml of strong black coffee, cooled. This has been cooled for about an hour in the fridge. I've used double espresso mix to make it really strong. Whatever you decide to use, try and use fresh. Percolated coffee will do absolutely fine as long as it's, like I say, it's very strong. Vanilla extract, 3 large eggs, 500 grams of good quality mascarpone, and 100 grams of caster sugar. No baking in the oven involved in this. This is a cold made dessert, and I'll show you how to make this traditional Italian tiramisu. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is separate the eggs. I would always have 3 bowls when I'm separating eggs, because if one of them breaks, then you've ruined the whole mixture. So if you're doing 3 eggs and in the third one you get some yolk in your white, you got to start all over again. So I would always use 3 bowls, top tip. So we're just going to remove the shell and separate. You can buy egg separators and things like that. I'm just going to separate the white from the yolk. Put the yolk into there and the white into there. Egg number 2. So as you'll see, we've just transferred that to a larger bowl because we're going to add the mascarpone in a moment. So into there, I'm just going to pour in a teaspoon of vanilla extract. I'm just going to give that just a quick mix into there. And then into there, into your bowl, you're going to add your 500 grams of mascarpone cheese. So what we're not going to do is mix this in. What we're going to do is we're going to fold it nice and gently into the mix. The reason we're doing that is because we have already started to create a light and airy mixture by whisking the sugar and the egg yolks. And we don't want to then end up with a really flat mix. So we're just very gently combining the two in there. So you don't want to be getting your hand blender out or a big wooden spoon or anything like that at this point. Just want to keep as much of that air in that mixture as we can. And just take your time to get that blended nicely. And as we're folding that in, all we're going to do is start to get the air into your egg whites. So not adding anything else to this, we're not making meringue, adding sugar or anything like that. And we're just going to put that on the lowest setting while we continue to fold your mascarpone and your egg whites mixture together. Okay, just to show you, so what we've done is we've continued to fold this for a few minutes. It'll take a little bit of time, but now what we've got is this lovely, smooth and creamy mixture. Okay, so when you're whisking your whites, what you're looking for is this kind of consistency. So it's lovely, light and fluffy. It's not a wet mixture, but you've not over mixed it so that you start to get little white lumps in it. So it's so just keep an eye on your egg white mix while you're doing it. Get it to that consistency, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to fold this very gently into the mascarpone sugar mix. So what we're going to do is we're just going to gently fold this in. As you can see, taking loads of time. And as soon as that is all combined, we stop at that point. Okay, so the tiramisu mix has been set to one side for the moment. What we're going to do now is layer up our sponge fingers. We've transferred the coffee into a shallow dish to make it easier to dip these. So these are just going to go in there 1, 2, 3 seconds. What you don't want them to be is soggy. You just want to absorb some of the coffee. And we're just going to do them individually like this, and we're just going to layer them sugar side up on the bottom of your dish. Okay, so we've done our first layer of sponge fingers, and what we're going to do is just going to put roughly half the mix on top and just spread that evenly over the top of there. What we don't want to do is push all the air out of it. Now you don't have to use a glass dish, but I think it just looks nicer aesthetically. And then what we're going to do is do exactly the same thing again and layer another layer on top of that of sponge fingers. So for your coffee mix, like I said, it's about 350 ml of espresso, double espresso coffee in here. You can, if you want, add alcohol. It's perfectly acceptable to add, say, some coffee liqueur into there, or even some Sicilian Marsala. Would go lovely with this. We don't drink, so we have a non-alcoholic version here. But I think it tastes just as good because of the strength of the coffee with the double espresso mix. And then just finally, all we're going to do is add the rest of this mix to the top of your dish. Try not to leave any in the bowl because it's delicious. Now, ideally you would be using sort of 20 by 20 dish. So we're just going to put this in the fridge to set and to rest. Minimum of 4 hours. Ideally you want to leave it overnight, and then it'll be the perfect consistency. Everything will have set how you want it to be. Okay, so that's gone in the fridge to rest, minimum of 4 hours. And then when we take it out, we'll either dust it with some cocoa, put some chocolate flakes on top, whichever you prefer. Feel free to subscribe, like, comment, and ask me any questions. Happy to answer them. Enjoy your dessert.